Welcome to this episode. Have you subscribed yet? The Mystery of the Mountain Ghost's Marriage in Ghost Opera in Yinshan, Records of the Nuo Mask and the Sunken Coffin. Chapter 13, The Secret Message on Chen Xiazi's Tombstone. The torrential rain pounded on the blue stones of the Yinshan cemetery. The ribs of Su Wangyan's umbrella were distorted by the wind, and the umbrella surface was turned inside out like a strange black lotus. Clutching half of the Nuo opera mask, he made his way through the rows of tombstones. The slippery moss made his soul slip several times until he saw the newly erected bluestone tombstone, Tomb of Chen Xiazi. At the foot of the tombstone was a pile of half-burned paper figure remains. The paper ashes, mixed with red sand, formed a blurred human face in the puddle. The moss on the back of the tombstone glowed faintly in the rain. Su Wangyan crouched down. As soon as his fingertips touched the surface of the tombstone, a bolt of lightning split the clouds, illuminating the topographic map behind the tombstone brightly. The mountain god pagoda tree was at the center, and 19 stone coffins at the bottom of the river were arranged radially. The heads of the coffins pointed towards the trunk of the pagoda tree, forming the outline of 1,000 hands. Even more eerily, a red line was connected to the tail of each stone coffin. Where the red lines converged was marked Twin Fiends, Wang Yin Yung Yang. The writing, washed by the rain, revealed deeper engravings underneath. Destroy the god's eye to break the 1,000 hands. Click! Half a piece of the broken river. God Steely slipped out from the moss at the foot of the tombstone. When Su Wangyan picked it up, his palm was cut by the stone edge. Blood seeped into the crack of the fragment, and the ancient characters Twin Fiends destroy the god's eye suddenly glowed red. The edge of the fragment was serrated and fit perfectly with the half-mask in his pocket. The stone powder at the broken part was as fresh as if it had just been chiseled from the stele, and the signature on the side of the stele was clearly the 26th year of the Republic of China, 30 years before Chen Xiazi's death. Rainwater flowed into his cuff along the surface of the tombstone. Su Wangyan shivered. His fingertips stroked the course of the river god's vein on the topographic map, and he suddenly remembered the pagoda wood tablet that Chen Xiazi had stuffed into his hand before his death. The birth dates on the back of the tablet emerged in the torrential rain, corresponding one by one to the serial numbers of the stone coffins on the map. When his fingertips passed over the 3 characters Su Wangyan, the surface of the tombstone suddenly vibrated, revealing a yellowed photo in the interlayer. A group photo of the Nuo opera troupe in 1937. Qian Xiaz, wearing an eye patch, stood at the end, and a pagoda wood birthmark identical to his was exposed from the cuff. Do you think the tomb keeper is really dead? A hoarse voice came from behind the tombstone. Su Wangyan suddenly turned around. He saw the old oil lamp in the paper-making shop flickering on and off in the rain curtain. In the lamp shadow, a hunched figure was swaying. Half of a pagoda wood tablet was exposed from the collar of the red wedding dress, exactly the style of Chen Xiazi's shroud. He subconsciously reached into his pocket, where his mother's silver bracelet should have been, but now it was empty. And the topographic map on the tombstone was melting, revealing dense, small characters underneath. Each opera master is a finger bone of the 1,000 hands. The blood of the Twin Fiends can revive them. The fragment suddenly became hot. Su Wangyan saw fragments of memories from 1937. Chen Xiazi was kneeling under the mountain god pagoda tree, chiseling the symbol of the Twin Fiends on the tree bark. The tree sap dripped onto his eye patch along the engraving, gradually staining the entire eye socket red. When the Chen Xiazi in the memory turned his head, his face didn't match the birth and death years on the tombstone. He was clearly a 20-year-old youth, but had the same lame posture as he did now. Brother Wangyan! Lin Yunyang's shout came from the depths of the cemetery. When Su Wangyan turned around, he found that Chen Xiazi's tombstone had somehow cracked, revealing the pagoda wood tablet inside. Engraved on the tablet were Chen, the tomb keeper, 202 BC. And at the bottom was painted a severed 1,000 hen and cinnabar. Exactly the silver bracelet was embedded in the center of the tablet, exactly the same as the one left by his mother, exactly the same as the one left by his mother. Engraved on the inner circle of the bracelet were When the twin fiends return, it is the time when the broken knife is formed. The rainwater rose above his ankles. Su Wanyan suddenly noticed that the bases of all the tombstones were engraved with Nuo opera masks. When his blood dripped onto the foot of Chen Xiazi's tombstone, the outlines of 19 stone coffins emerged from the ground. The pattern formed by the coffin lids was exactly the same as the fragment in his hand. The fragment suddenly flew out of his hand and touched the half-mask in the air, reflecting the image of the 19th stone coffin at the bottom of the river. His mother, Su Chunyang, stroked the coffin lid with her fingers. The newly engraved words on it were exactly his name, and on the back of her neck, there was also a coffin-shaped birthmark identical to Lin Yunyang's. "Don't look." Lin Yunyang suddenly rushed over and pressed his face into her shoulder. Su Wanyan smelled the red sand smell from the bottom of the river on her cuff, mixed with the fishy sweetness of the rainwater. When he looked up again, Chen Xiazi's tombstone had returned to its original state. Only the broken piece gap at the foot of the tombstone was bleeding. The blood flowed along the thousand hands outline of the topographic map and finally gathered into the character Gui at the position of the mountain god pagoda tree. Uncle Chen's tomb has never been inscribed. Lin Yunyang's voice was trembling. She pointed at the surface of the tombstone. Only then did Su Wanyan notice that somehow Tomb of Chen Xiazi had become Tomb of Chen Jing, the tomb keeper of Luo Men. In the blank space of the birth and death years, it was engraved with fingernails. On the Dragon Boat Festival in 1937, the twin fiends appeared, and the thousand hands opened their eyes. And on the topographic map behind the tombstone, the red lines that originally pointed to the river god Stila now all turned towards the position of his heart. The torrential rain formed a water curtain among the tombstones. Su Wanyan suddenly remembered the hidden compartment in Chen Xiazi's papermaking shop, where there were 19 small stone coffins. Inside each coffin was a note with his name written on it. Now that he thought about it, the handwriting on those notes was exactly the same as the topographic map behind the tombstone, and the shape of the stone coffin arrangement was the left hand of the thousand-hand corpse god. His left ring finger was Yin Zuo Tong, under the ligneous pattern. "It's time to go." Lin Yunyang tugged at his wrist, but Su Wanyan stared at a new line of small characters emerging at the foot of the tombstone. The corpse-driving people in Qian region are waiting for the 21st mask. The human chrysalis sacrifice in Tuchu region needs the blood of the twin fiends. The writing was not yet dry. Rainwater flowed along the strokes and turned into blood beads dripping onto his palm and actually condensing into the shape of the pagoda wood tablet. When he turned around, he found that the eye sockets of the masks on all the tombstones were turning, all looking in the direction of the mountain god pagoda tree. From there came the dull sound of coffin lids hitting 19 times, completely in sync with his heartbeat. The umbrella was swept away by the strong wind. Su Wanyan let the rain wash away the cold sweat on his face, his fingertips rubbing the three characters "Destroy the God's Eye" on the fragment. He suddenly remembered what his mother had written in her diary. The blood of the twin fiends is the key to open the thousand hands, and also the only knife that can kill it. At this moment, the fragment and the mask were getting hot in his pocket, as if urging him to go to the next sacrificial place, the Zhuanling village in Qian region, that Chen Xiazi had muttered before his death. The secret of the tomb keeper with the broken finger engraved in the deepest part of the topographic map. The tombstones gradually blurred in the rain curtain. The last thing Su Wanyan saw was that the death year of Chen Xiazi was washed and changed by the rain, and the death year actually coincided with his birth year. Lin Yunyang's hand suddenly clasped his wrist. He looked down and saw that their reflections overlapped in a puddle, forming a human figure wearing a mask. And in the chest of the human figure was inserted a broken knife composed of two halves of the Nuo opera mask, the blade facing inward and the handle facing outward, as if predicting a sacrifice that they must complete. The rain became even more violent. When Su Wanyan turned around, he found that the iron gate of the cemetery had somehow opened. Outside the gate was parked a pagoda, wood carriage. 19 paper figures were wrapped around the shaft of the carriage. In the eye socket of each paper figure was embedded his photo. The coachman was wearing a bamboo hat, and half of a Nuo opera mask was exposed under the brim, exactly the face of his mother, Su Xunyang. The carriage made a creaking sound and drove towards the depths of Yinshan with a cartload of broken tombstone fragments. The ancient characters on the fragments became visible in the rain. Those who destroy the god's eye must first destroy their own eyes. The end of this episode. The story continues. Subscribe now.